Hello and welcome to the Heated Debate brought to you by Emirates. As always, we are here debating the biggest footballing topics at the World Cup in Qatar. You can get in touch as well, so make sure you do jump into the live comments. I've got the stream up, so make sure that you're letting us know, are we right, are we wrong? Do you disagree? Do you agree? We want to hear. And as well, you can jump on Twitter, use the hashtag #TheHeatedDebate. Now, it's not just myself that's here. We've always got two guests that are sharing their opinions. And today we've got Rachel Stringer and James Allcott as well. And guys, it's true or false today, all right? So the way this will run, we've got a series of statements. You're going to let us know, do you think it's true? Do you think it's false? And then the comments are going to disagree with you, Rachel, all right? Your first one, they like to get in and tell us that we're wrong, okay? So let's get into it. And let's start with that first one. Comes off the back of yesterday, that shock result. First statement, Messi cannot become the GOAT without winning the World Cup. True or false? Let us know your answers. Show it us. Go on.
I'm not looking at James in case.
Okay, let's see. Wow, there we are. Okay, I'm going to come straight to you, Rachel, because first time on the show, and you're saying false to this one, this statement. So you think it's false that Messi cannot become the GOAT without winning the World Cup. So if he doesn't win it, he can still be the greatest of all time.
I think it's a different era. When we talk about the likes of Pele, Maradona, it's a different era of football now, I think, than what they do. Like, I guess in terms of the congested season, what he's already achieved, the kind of players who are in this era of football that we talk about in the same kind of sentences, the Ronaldos. I just think he's done enough for his club. Yes, not particularly for Argentina, but how far does he have to go? What else do you think he needs to achieve? We're just saying one thing, the World Cup.
Yeah, this is... You've started spicy here, Carl. You
said true, James. So give us your reasons why.
These are murky waters, right? And I'm trying to, with these absolute statements that we're making here.
I wanted a middle ground, and I couldn't have one.
You've got to kind of create the criteria for it. And so when we talk about that conversation, it is difficult because you've got Maradona, you've got Pele, you've got Zidane, you've got Ronaldo, and the numbers are with the Messis and the Ronaldos because they played a lot more games and in different competitions as well. But the one kind of constant is the World Cup. And, Maradona went and did it on his own, let's be honest. Pele won 3, right? Zidane won 1. All these guys won a World Cup. And again, even his closest compatriot, we talk about Messi and Ronaldo. We're speaking about Messi and Ronaldo for the last 15 years, probably longer. If he wants to go clear in the conversation, he has to win it because Ronaldo's won a major tournament. Messi's got one as well. They've lost a few finals. But for him to step clear, there's no one that gets near him. And if Ronaldo wins it, then numbers-wise, alongside those major tournaments, it then makes it difficult for Messi fans to argue that Messi is definitely the best. In terms of getting far enough away that there's not a debate, he has to win it.
In terms, though, again, the generational point, young people today, neither have I, watched Maradona or Pele. So it's again who you remember growing up as the greatest. So the people that watched the legends back in the day, give it 20, 30 years, they might not still be around. So you've got to move with the time of who you've seen possibly playing in real life. And that's what the Football World Cups are all about.
Yeah, and
going yesterday to watch Neymar in real life. You want to watch these people because you've grown up with them. And in my opinion, you can't possibly look at Maradona and Pele because I never got to see them either. They're not my generation of football.
Well, the argument is always Messi or Ronaldo. Just looking at Ballon d'Ors, Messi's got 7, Ronaldo's got 5. We will be talking about Ronaldo a little bit later on, but focusing on this World Cup, and actually this was Messi's chance. It felt like the whole Argentina squad, people were talking about, well, we're gearing up to get Messi that one trophy. Then he can be considered to be better than the likes of Maradona. But his personal achievements, without a World Cup, James, they're incredible.
Look, don't get it twisted. I think he's the greatest. I do. That's my opinion. But again, it's murky, and it's a conversation. And Pele, these other players, they'll get annoyed as well. Go, I didn't get to play all these games. I didn't get, chance after chance. I didn't get sort of hacked to pieces like Pele did in the 1966 World Cup. The reason it's true is the fact that for him to go clear and to end this conversation, he has to win it.
So if this is the last World Cup, which it possibly is, and he doesn't win, is he just disregarded then as one of the best?
No. He's still mine. He's still my GOAT. But the important thing here is, that sounds weird, doesn't it? Please don't clip that up.
Yeah.
The thing here is, as long as Ronaldo doesn't win it, he's safe.
Oh,
just as importantly as Messi needing to win it, Ronaldo needs to not win it.
That's a talking point in itself.
That really is a talking point in itself. Well, get in touch in the comments, all right. True or false, Messi cannot become the GOAT without winning the World Cup. Let's go on to the next one then. Another big statement. This man featured last night. It looked like it was going to be another huge upset, and then he showed up, he turned up. Kylian Mbappe. The statement is, Mbappe has already peaked in his career. True or false? Show us your answers. Both of you going with false. OK, you both agree. Interesting. James, I'll come to you first on this one. False. He's not really peaked. Won a World Cup, playing for one of the biggest teams in terms of club as well. Worth so much money, he could go on to do some incredible things at club level. But in terms of national level, does it get any bigger than a World Cup?
Well, I'm going to contradict myself a little bit here, because as much as it is all about the tournaments, it's not all about the tournaments, right? And that's what Messi has. And if you want to have that argument, again, he's my GOAT, the GOAT, different question, but my GOAT. I've got to start saying GOAT. The thing with Mbappe is, we both went to the game yesterday. He was actually, in my opinion, from his standards, he was actually quite poor. There was a moment where he missed a couple of sitters, and he missed a third sitter, let's say, when it comes to Mbappe level. And he does score after that. But I was sort of watching him, and he was screaming to the heavens. He was sort of rubbing his face because he was just so frustrated with how he was playing. And that said, he was still, you watch him, and he's supersonic. The guy is so fast, so technically brilliant as well. If he can add a little bit to his finishing, and again, I'm going from one game here, I just think the potential is just outrageous because he's playing him fast forward. That's the thing for me.
Going on to the back about the match yesterday, I went as well, and I agree. I was reading the paper this morning, and everyone was saying he's back, he's phenomenal. I was like, there are a couple of chances. Maybe people weren't watching like I was. Obviously, he was raging down that left-hand side and playing really, really wide as well, which I think was great to see. Really kind of stretching the field apart. But there were a couple of chances, like James said, that he missed. Going back to your question, Kyle, he's 23 years old. I remember back in 2017, I actually awarded him with the Golden Boy Award after his season at Monaco. Yeah, in Monaco. I mean, great.
Golden things out there, isn't it?
It was a great little achievement. And I remember thinking there, OK, he just got, I think it was semi-finals with Monaco in the Champions League that year, before he signed to PSG, and thinking, oh, this is an exciting new player coming through. That was when he must have been 17 or something. And then, obviously, the year after, 2018, he won the World Cup. Was that the year he got maybe 33 goals in Ligue 1 and was kind of...
Stop looking at me.
Phenomenal season with PSG. Obviously signed, ridiculous fee. Won the World Cup. That's obviously got to be a transitional year. You win, if we're talking about Messi, you win the greatest prize in football as a teenager. There's maybe got to be that chance to reset and go, well, I've almost achieved everything I want to in my career. For country, okay, maybe not for club at the moment. That's two very different conversations. So, okay, we saw him yesterday in action. France actually looked really good. They had that little blip, didn't they, when Australia got that opening goal? But as soon as they kind of got back in it, goal and assist.
Yeah.
I don't think he's had that enough time in his career at 23 to say he's peaked yet.
Yeah, you peak when you're sort of 28. If he can keep the pace, that's the big thing, because he is electric. He's absolutely electric. And you say, like, he starts wide, makes those diagonal runs. It's also set up for him really lovely with Giroud, who's just going to kind of stand still. So there is that space in behind. If he keeps the pace and his composure continues to get better, yeah, he's frightening.
What about his attitude, though? Well, I know, yeah. I mean, what about his attitude, though? Because the temperament, you said yesterday, not quite getting the chances. Yes, he did then turn it on, and actually he scores, gets an assist, and we know that he can do that. But if things don't go his way, he's already won a World Cup. He's at one of the biggest clubs, as I keep on saying. Will he get frustrated with teammates? Will he become much bigger than he suggests he is?
I was kind of looking out for that as well, because this is the great thing for me. Often QPR fan, we don't get to see the likes of Mbappe. So to see him live was amazing, and I did kind of keep my eye on him. And there were moments where there were sort of passes that went awry. They were a little bit lazy in the first half, France, which kind of that nonchalance actually got them back into it at the end. But they were always looking for him, and there were a few stray passes. And every single time he did actually go, no, good, it's all fine. Because sometimes strikers can get a bit lazy and don't want to make those runs anymore.
Do you say lazy, though, or the fact that it was the pressure of being defending champions in their first game? and that expectation on them.
Well, what I'm hoping for is that sort of hunger as champions. Like, you lose a bit. Once you win it, you lose something. And I'm hoping that when they maybe get to the quarterfinals and could play England, if they finish second in the group, then it might be one then where that helps England, who haven't got over the line yet. I mean, that's just hopeful thinking. But, you know, his ego was in check, certainly, in this game. But, again, we're going to get on to Ronaldo in a minute. But there's, down the line, you know, he might change as a person.
Right, we had some comments then. We've had Mrs. Queen saying Mbappe is a brilliant talent and a great footballer. And Cozy said Mbappe is the future GOAT, linking to the first statement that we had. I'm actually going to say on this one, false. He's not peaked. He'll win another World Cup in his career. I am sure of it. Let us know. Maybe a Ballon d'Or or two as well. Could he be considered one of the GOATs? By the time he comes to the end of his career, we will see. Right, let's move on. A player that we've not seen just yet in the tournament, but one that I'm sure everyone talks about when he plays at club level, Kevin De Bruyne. And the statement is, Kevin De Bruyne is going to be player of the tournament. True or false? Show us, James. You've gone... Both agree again. They play this evening. They're facing up against kind of their first game in the tournament. You're saying false. Kevin De Bruyne, best midfielder in the world right now, isn't going to be the player of the tournament.
I think he can. I don't think he will. But I think if Belgium win the tournament,
exactly what I was going to say. You've got to win the tournament to be considered the best player at the tournament.
But you don't have to win the tournament to be considered the GOAT. Come on, guys.
Come on. To get to the final. You have to get to the final.
Okay.
You have to get to the final to win the MVP.
But you're not. But you're saying best player on the planet. We're saying best player at this tournament. In terms of Messi, we were talking about him being the best player on the planet. We're talking about Kevin De Bruyne being the best player at this tournament. You can't not get to a semi-final or win and be considered the best. So are Belgium going to get third place last time out? Can they get us? I don't know. What do you think? Can they get us far?
I think the group's nice for them. I think they can go far in the tournament. I think they've got the nicer side of the draw, as long as there's not more shocks. And I think the way that he plays, they look to allow him to play that same role that he does at Man City. I made a prediction before the tournament. I felt like there was going to be a lot of headers in this tournament, and there has been so far. And the reason I kind of thought that was because of Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne in that little area, sort of almost quite deep, where he sort of gets the ball and then curls those crosses in. We've seen that quite a lot. And so I can see him getting lots of assists because I think he'll have that freedom. The bigger question is, if Belgium need to get far, and they could play Germany in the round of 16, Germany or Spain, right, if it is those two that go through. And so that could be a stumbling block as well. But in terms of form, is there a player in better form right now? I'm not sure.
I would say there isn't, especially in midfield. But how much will it have to be the team that are around him as well? At club level,
do you think he can do it on his own?
On his own, I think he can drag a game, and he can actually, when Belgium are losing, he can be the player that turns it on. But it's not always goal scoring, it's providing those assists. And if he's not playing with the same calibre of striker, let's say, that he does at club level, that's not just on him. So it wouldn't be his fault if Belgium didn't make it to a semi-final. But when they need him most, I think he can turn it on. But it needs to be the players that are around him that also do that. Him and Lukaku, we've seen that they can link up really well. But then it depends, what's Lukaku like? What's the form he's coming into this like as well?
I'm intrigued, but question for the comments, you guys answer it as well. If you get first pick, you've got every player who's at the World Cup, and you get first pick of creating your own squad.
We had to do this. Did you not do your fancy team?
Oh yeah, true. But would Kevin De Bruyne be that first pick if you know that if I don't pick him, then you?
My first pick actually was Kevin De Bruyne, and then Jude Bellingham. And I realised I spent too much money early on in midfield. I had to restart again.
So you went back to have De Bruyne.
And I actually know I knocked him out for Bellingham because I think he was slightly less. And I wanted a little bit of a younger player to come through in midfield. I like how he's obviously playing much more offensive now.
Got a goal, well done.
Got a goal straight away. Yeah. And I don't know if we were getting on to him again. Jamal Musiala for Germany, I think is going to be a very exciting young player. I love the fact that he's come from that England background, playing with kind of the freedom that they allowed him to do there. He's had the best of both worlds. That he grew up with like the England academy, has now moved to Germany. He's been likened to a Messi. I think Owen Hargreaves said he's got the passing abilities of Kaka. It's like how people are speaking about that player I think it'd be really exciting to see him here.
I think when you ask me that question, I think Messi is above him, but then I think De Bruyne.
Yeah.
I think De Bruyne is the next best player that you would pick, and so with that in mind, again, if they get to the final, I think he'll win it.
Very interesting, right? I like that. We've come all the way around there, didn't we? Really, we need one of those in the middle once again. Right, next question. I think everyone's been really hoping we'd bring this one up. The comments would suggest that. The title of this video as well. There's only one man we can talk about. True or false? Cristiano Ronaldo's drama will cost Portugal at the World Cup. People in the comments say true or false as well. False for both of you. 3 falses in a row for both of you. In the comments, let us know, will it cost Portugal and their chances of lifting that beautiful gold trophy? Rachel, I'm coming to you first. False, it's not going to cost them. Could they go on to win this competition? Do you think that Portugal have got a good enough squad, including Cristiano, to win it?
Can I do that?
Oh, you're in the middle already, you're swapping.
I don't think so. But going back to your point of will it kind of be distracting, we're at a World Cup. The answer there is it shouldn't be distracting. OK, there's, press circulating the entire time. I think it was actually Mason Mount who was asked about Ronaldo after the opening game, and he kind of just went back. He's like, it's my first World Cup, can we just keep it to me? I think they were speaking about would he possibly go to Chelsea, and he was like, let's just hold it there, like, it's nothing to do with us. And I feel that's how the Portugal squad should be as well. Fernando's possibly the only person who's getting caught up in it, being a United teammate, possibly kind of saying, mate, what have you done just coming to World Cup? But, it's a difficult one to talk about. Ronaldo isn't daft.
No.
He's started this conversation at this time for a reason. Maybe the fact that he's away from United and he's not going to really get caught up in the ramifications back home. He's out here, he's in the squad, he's protected by the squad, he's protected by a coach who loves him. It shouldn't affect Portugal as a nation.
But this is what everyone is talking about. Everything is dominated by Cristiano Ronaldo, and it's kind of, yes, taking the heat possibly off Portugal, but surely Portugal players should be focusing on their games and what they want to do.
They will be, no?
Well, can they? Just being asked those questions?
I think this gives Ronaldo life. I think he loves it. I think if there's other players who might wilt under this kind of spotlight, attention just recharges his battery. It turns him into this sort of snarling, scary player that I think at 37, despite the hunger that he always shows, feeds to his ego, which is a good thing.
He wouldn't have done it for a reason that would detract from his World Cup, would he?
I just don't. I think he's impenetrable from that point of view. I think he's had attention his whole life. He's had to perform his whole life, and I think this will excite him. The ability to prove people wrong again. I think he loves it. And I use that word ego, and people can get annoyed about that. Certain strikers, the best strikers, have that ego. They go, give me the ball, let me score the goal. That is what Ronaldo is about. Ronaldo wants the attention. It allows the rest of the team to get on with it. And actually, I guess the other thing is that the other talking point was, like, does he as a player and how he plays, does that make Portugal better or worse? That's a different conversation. But I think you'll get a better Ronaldo because of this fallout than you would have otherwise.
I don't actually think the team will be affected, but I actually had a little look on Portuguese headlines, and the paper, so back home, they were saying less Ronaldo, more Portugal. So maybe as a nation,
again, a bit annoyed.
People back home are going, like, he is not our country, but he is in terms of a person. He's the country. He's as big as the country possibly in terms of a footballer.
Right, well, we've had plenty of comments right here. A lot of people saying false, that it won't actually cost Portugal at the World Cup. My other question to this is, well, how far were they expected to go? If they were only expected to get to the quarters or the semi-finals, that's where people will say they could easily do that. But if they don't win it, is that ultimately costing them or not?
Well, their squad is as good as the England squad. It is. You've got Cancelo in that team. You've got the Ruben Dias in that team. You've got Bernardo Silva in that team. You've got Premier League all-stars in that Portugal squad, and depth as well. Andre Silva's going to be on the bench. You've got really, really good players, so the expectations should be high. If they win their group, could well play Serbia or Switzerland. and should be making out of that again with their squad. I do see a lot of similarities between them and England because of the quality that they have there. So they should be getting to a semi-final at minimum.
Right, well, it's funny you bring up England. That's the next one that we've got. Our next statement, jump into the comments on this one. It'll be interesting to see what people think, especially after the first game and ahead of the game against the USA. The statement is, true or false, it's coming home. I've got my England stuff on. I had to wear it today.
Kyle, I don't like you asking James and I this question, being England fans.
I mean, you can get excited or you got...
Let's just get this done.
Come on, let's do it then. True or false? What? Really?
I can't flip-flop just yet. Literally 2 days ago I said Brazil were going to win the whole thing. So I can't...
That was before you watched England. Come on.
Yeah, true. Look, I think that was exactly what we needed. It blew away the cobwebs. All of a sudden, everyone's throwing things in the air in different places and life's great. And long may that continue. But I still feel like Brazil will be too strong and will win this whole tournament. So that's why it's not coming home.
Right, wow, you've picked Brazil to do it. Rachel, what about you? You didn't give your predictions the other day, all right? So England aren't going to be bringing that trophy home. It's not coming home.
It's too early to say, Carl.
But is it?
Yes.
Why?
Go on, Carl.
Oh, wow, you're going
to... Because we've had one game of football for them. After a really disastrous build-up. No win in 6, wasn't it? Okay, Germany was a little bit more hope, having that 3-0 win. Was that back in
You're
September?
not getting out of this, Carl.
I'm going to ask him. I'm going to ask him. It's exactly what James said. They needed that. They needed those 6 goals to really ignite that team again. But they I'm kind of now going to contradict myself. This is so
coming home?
No, it's not coming home. But they need to be successful to get a semi-final. That ticking clock in Gareth Southgate's office that kind of was countdown to winning this. This was always the goal, wasn't it? I don't think they'll get to the final. But the depth of squad, like we're just talking about, the Portugal, is there. This team know how to play together. That is what they have as well. They've played together. They've been very successful. They got to the final of the Euros. They got semi-final of the World Cup 4 years ago. They also know how to navigate tournaments, which is also really...
but not to the end, sadly.
Well,
not
they got
fully
to the final.
the end.
So they kind of do. And actually, that is crucial. I used to be an ex-athlete, and navigating sports and rounds and, figuring out how to deal with down days, being away from family, that's all part of it. It's not just about the football. So they do know how to do that. They've got Gareth Southgate. He's still backing them. I still think he's a success as well. I think semi-finals is a success for England, and I think that would be a great result for us.
Right, well, in the comments, you're having plenty
of... What are you saying?
You've got your paddles.
Let me link into it, please. All right, OK. In the comments, we've got plenty of maybes, plenty of falses, but there is some positivity in there as well. Thomas Shelby, I hope that must be his real name, yeah, maybe. He's the most positive of them all, and I agree with him. He said, it is coming home. I think like it is.
You can't sit in an England kit and not say
that's true.
It's not coming home.
Come on, all right.
Why is it coming home?
I think I'm so confident with this squad. We've got a brilliant young squad as well. That's what excites me. Everything's been geared towards this. Ultimately, it's when we get past the group stages, anything can happen in 90 minutes or 120 minutes of football and penalties, which we've seen. We've come so close at times with the Euros. 4 years ago in Russia, that spirit was great. And I tweeted something last year where I said, we might not be winning the tournament, but it's felt like it has already come home in terms of that spirit of what football means, and that's what this squad has actually done. It's brought us all together, and we all believe that it can happen. We all get excited, we all get so positive, and we get ahead of ourselves. Isn't that part of it? Isn't that what going to a major tournament is about? No one wants to go into it thinking, well, we're not going to win this tournament, what's the point? So yes, I believe it's true. I think it is coming home. I think it's going to happen. And I think that actually, for England, now's the time to do it. And I can't wait for the parade.
I feel like you're not an England fan now. Well, obviously, we'd love it to come home.
Just being sensible.
But, you did ask us, and it's a really tough ask. So.
Right, OK, well, we'll move on. There you go. Final question. We've got one more for you, OK? And I think we didn't want to be talking around this one and not mention Neymar and Brazil. You picked them to go all the way, and it could be down to this man. The statement is, get in the comments, let us know. Neymar is all flair and goes missing when it matters. True or false? I want to see the reactions to this one. Let us
I think I put up this pad all the time.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Oh, sorry, what's the question again?
Goes missing
He does go missing.
He does.
Sorry.
Right, I mean, this is an argument that people will always say, he's got the tricks, he's got the flair, he's got it all. But sometimes in big games, not just for his country, but for club as well, doesn't quite click, James.
Well, so I kind of looked into this because my initial feeling was true. I was thinking, the Champions League finals, the World Cup. Obviously, he scored 6 goals in 10 in World Cups, so that's impressive. But you're also playing for Brazil, and you're the main man for him, so you should be scoring some goals. 2018 didn't feel right at all, and there was a lot of falling over from him, which was infuriating.
Was injured though?
He had moments of certainly got injured, didn't he, in 2014 as well. So I was going to go down that road. Champions League against Bayern Munich, he couldn't get them over the line there. But then I looked it up. Apparently he's got 20 goals in finals over his career. So it's like the third most of any players. So
he could overtake Pele as well in terms of scoring for Brazil. So the numbers there, the numbers back
I think it's the fact of does he go missing? I don't think he goes missing. Has he been able to get over the line with the ones that he wants, which is the World Cup and the Champions League? I mean, I guess he's got one with Barcelona, but he hasn't done it with PSG as of yet. So, he doesn't go missing, but he struggles to get over the line with those ones.
He has had plenty of injuries at times, so you could look at that. You could look at the players that he's played with. He's achieved so much, but when you've got Messi next to you, when you've got Suarez you're playing with as well, it's very difficult not to achieve things. Do you think, though, that Neymar has built that kind of outright for himself and actually he can be a key player for Brazil? They've got so many forwards. Is he the main man for them currently, Rachel?
Oh, he's got to be one of them, hasn't he? What is he now, 30 odd? Will it be his last World Cup? Possibly. I think he's spoken about that it possibly might be. He's got to be one of the main guys out here this time, and I guess it's possibly his only chance to win a World Cup. I think he's played this is his third. He missed out in 2010. Yeah, he was too young. And injured. I think he was injured again in 2018, injured in 2014. This is his chance to overtake Pele, to put himself on the map and to be spoken about like what we have been with the Messi, the Ronaldo, because I think Neymar has still got to be in those conversations.
Yeah, there's brackets, there's conversations, and in those brackets, he will be disappointed if he ends his career, especially Brazil, if he doesn't win a World Cup. This is the year for him to do it. You've got a great squad there, you've got experience in those centre-backs, you've got so much depth in that attacking area, and he's the jewel in the crown. He really is. He's the guy they go to help it sort of tick along. And with all these exciting players around him, Vinicius Jr., you've got Antony, you've got Richarlison, Gabriel Jesus, the list goes on. It needs to happen. It has to happen this time for him.
And it almost like he can afford to go missing when you list off players like that. Not intentionally, but the depth being there.
That might be the thing that gets him over the line.
Yeah, everything's not on his shoulders.
Don't the great players drag their teams through?
But they're all great now.
Yeah, but Zidane, 98, you've got a key player right there. 2002, that Brazil squad, they had plenty of players that were managing to do it. And then you looked forward, you look at, we talked about Kevin De Bruyne, that he'd be the player of the tournament if they do go on to win it, because he'll drag them to that. If Brazil are to win, like you said, James, will that be because Neymar has dragged them across the line?
No, I think
it doesn't need to be that, but I think you're right. He should be, if it's always going to be him and it's going to be him in those conversations, then he does need to step up in those big moments. And it's all there set up for him, as it has been at PSG, as it has been at Barcelona. He's been a very lucky boy. Obviously, he's got the talent to back it up. But he does need to step up because he is the main man. He is the main man for Brazil, and he has been for a long time.
Well, lots of people in the comments, they're backing up Neymar. Some even saying he'll be the top goal scorer in the tournament.
He's my player of the tournament. That's my prediction, so I think he will go and do it.
Wow, common knowledge. Yeah, he agrees. He thinks that player of the tournament, top goal scorer.
We could be friends.
And Brazil. Well, guys, it's been brilliant to chat through all of this with you and be told that you're wrong in the comments time and time again. Oh, there's one that agreed with you, James, which is always nice. An absolute pleasure. Another huge day of football in action. As always as well, thank you for getting in touch. It's great to hear your thoughts and opinions on the biggest footballing topics here at the FIFA 2022 World Cup in Qatar. We'll be back another match day tomorrow, so make sure you join us 9:30 in the morning in the UK. So make sure you like, comment and subscribe. This is the Heated Debate brought to you by Emirates. And as I said, we'll be back every single match day and we'll see you tomorrow.